Good afternoon, Heat Nation, folks, folks, and everything in between and beyond. My name is Roy, host of Happiness. I keep saying, and I'm going to continue saying it probably forever, that I'm the only host in the history of the internet who fully and wholeheartedly admits that he doesn't know what he's talking about, but he tries. Now, yesterday we saw the Heat beat the Nets, and I think that the game showed that this is a team that is, number one, young, number two, from the two people of the big three that we were supposed to have, only one is actually playing, Tyler Hero. Bam Adebayo did contribute a lot. This is the third game, I think, that he was in double-digit rebounds, so he's been a little bit better on the boards, I guess, but it depends on the matchup, and, it did well against, rebound-wise, right, against the Bucks even, but regardless of anything that happens. Obviously, it's not a win that impresses us, but it's good to be able to win winnable games. And since we are still in suspense and things are still the way that they are, I don't think that we can judge this team. I don't think that we can really expect anything from this team. So, as I said before, I'm going to say again, I'm giving them a pass until things get sorted out, and it might not even be this season because apparently, Phoenix was going to do everything that he could to get Butler there, but they can't move Beal. It's reported that Beal doesn't want to go to the Bucks, or the Bucks don't want Beal, and then again, right, we had other suitors that just apparently are not making offers, even though there are teams that are appearing that want to facilitate a trade. 4 or 5 teams that could get involved in that situation. Phoenix in particular has the issue with Beal, and we have the issue that Butler doesn't want to go to teams like, for example, Grizzlies. Like, he would probably go to the Warriors, like he said he would. And then again, right, whatever it is, it's a very interesting situation. That's just, again, someone asked me on Facebook when I posted the previous video, why do I blame Jimmy Butler for everything that's happening? I don't blame Jimmy Butler for everything that's happening. That's number one. Coming into the season, we knew of the limitations of our team, but we thought that there was a plan in place. And again, that plan was actually executed to a certain level of effectiveness during the preseason. So understanding that, number one, Jimmy seemed to be locked in. I think that not just the front office, but the fans thought that he was going to play this out. And according to 5 Reasons Sports, apparently that was the case until the Suns visited us early December. And now, of course, they're talking about whatever the scenario is. They're having a conversation right now whether they're going to let Jimmy Butler not play throughout the rest of until at least the trade deadline, whether it's going to be at the discretion of Spo to decide whether he's going to sit on the bench, start, play it all. Those are things that I think we understand that we don't know what's going to happen. And I'm not going to get into speculations. It's going to be a bigger circus like the 5 Reasons Sports say if Butler is on the bench, because right now I don't think that this is a situation it's far from ideal. The other teams had to deal with it in the past. They had to deal with it with Ben Simmons, right? Most recently, which is the story that came out right now of the coach at the time saying, it's a horrible situation to have to play. They have to deal with a player that doesn't want to be there, but is there. And then we know that Ben Simmons right now is playing whatever basketball he's playing. Is definitely not the one. Definitely not the Ben Simmons that the 76ers thought they had. That's for sure. As for Butler, I think that there is one thing that I kind of came to an agreement with myself. I do say that the front office because the main thing is this: the front office did get us people, right? They got 2, 3, 4 people that could have amounted to one better role player. Like when they, Solomon Hill, like I said, right? Solomon Hill, Cody Zeller, Trevor Ariza. I keep forgetting all the horrible names, Dwayne Dedman, all the horrible names that we had throughout the past 5 seasons. And I can understand that we could have gotten someone better. And people keep saying, and they kept saying at the time, they kept saying throughout all those 5 years. They said it in 2019, 2020. They said it after the 2019, 2020 season, especially after we got swept by the Bucks in the 2021 season. They said it in the 21-22 season. Not mistaken, that's when we got Lowry. That's when we got to the first seed. They said it in the 22-23 season. And then we made the finals. They said it in the 23-24 season. And I think that was the precursor to what is happening right now, which is basically we didn't make the playoffs. We made the play-ins. Butler's commitment or lack thereof showed. And second game of the play-in, he gets injured and he's out of the playoffs, and that's the situation that we have. But the one thing that people said all those years is everyone around us keeps getting better. And we are stuck in the same place. And to all the people that say that, I say to you, I'm not saying you're wrong. What I am saying is this. Who got better? The 76ers got better at a stretch. Huge ordeal. We drafted Precious and not Maxey. They had a good team. They even had Harden for a stretch there. Harden, who was supposed to come to us, went to them, right? Was supposed to come to us. He wasn't supposed to come to us at all. But a lot of people thought that that would have been a good acquisition. He went to 76ers. What did the 76ers do versus us? What did they do versus us? Ever since the Lillard package, what a disaster. We couldn't get Lillard. The Bucks got Lillard. They got better. What did the Bucks do since they got Lillard? What did they do? For a stretch there, the Nets had gotten better. What did the Nets do? The Knicks certainly got better. They have been getting better, right? 2 second-round exits. What did they do? Atlanta didn't get better, and they got to an ECF. They didn't get particularly better. They got to the ECF. The Clippers got better. What did they do? Dallas got better. What did they do? What did they do? Look at all the teams that got better and did nothing. With the exception of the Bucks that won a championship in one of those years, and they actually were in kind of the mix for almost as many years as Miami Heat. Not as strong as the Celtics. The Celtics have been there. They already had a strong core. They've been knocking at the ACF and at the finals all those years. They went to the finals against Golden State Warriors and lost. And then they got the ring. That's the only team that has a chance to repeat. They got better. I agree. 1 out of 30 teams did something significantly better than the Miami Heat. 1. So you cannot not understand that the front office thought that we had more value than we had. And then let's talk about overachieving. Is there such a thing as overachieving? Absolutely. When you have to win one game that you weren't supposed to win, that's overachieving. When you have to win 14 games that you weren't supposed to win, stop. Please, stop with the overachieving. Look at the path that we had to the finals when we got to the Nuggets and how banged up we were against the Nuggets in comparison to how banged up the Nuggets were. The Nuggets had the easiest path because they were number 1 seed. We had the toughest path because we were number 8 seed. Ended up being after the play-ins. We're supposed to be number 7th without the play-in idea. And yet, what did it do? What did that do to us? We went to the finals. We actually went to the finals. All these other teams that got better, including the Celtics, which we could have definitely at least gentlemen swept, but we unfortunately lost 3 in a row and got to Game 7. They got better, and they didn't get to the finals. And same thing with the other teams that y'all keep mentioning that got better. What is this get better that doesn't translate into something concrete? Versus us not getting better but going to the finals twice in 5 years and to the ECF 3 times in 5 years? I think that every criticism that is being thrown right now at the front office has been thrown in a vacuum and has been thrown without any kind of perspective of what the real situation is. The front office had a legitimate case that we had a better team than the one that we had. And the truth is this, having a committed Jimmy Butler, I think that we can do better in the regular season, and obviously we can do better in the playoffs. So I have to say this entire idea is just ridiculous. And then you hear Shaq saying, why can't a guy just not show up to work? And understanding that the situation of the NBA is not the same situation as the working class. But it's like, again, man, when did it become a situation that fans have so little to say about a team when they are the patrons of that team, right? At the same time, when you look at the comments and look at the people saying what they're saying, Pat is washed, this front office can't bring a whale. And then we look at, other people who are, good influencers, and they definitely know more basketball than I'll ever, or forgot more basketball than I'll ever know, or that I'll ever learn. They still say things that I think are not unfair, but again, in a vacuum, right? The Miami Heat could have done better. Like maybe if KD went to the Suns, what did the Suns do? Or Harden, or Irvin, or who was it that we wanted? Or Giannis, right? There was like a situation where he got extended. He wasn't going to come to us anyway. Bogdanovich for a way. Like, okay, yeah, I understand. You want, again, they have been wanting a big to play with Bam, and now we understand that also brings its own set of problems, but I think workable problems and problems that there could be solutions for, because I do believe that size is important still in today's NBA. But of course, shooting the three, that's the name of the game nowadays, and sometimes we just are dreadful. A lot of the mistakes, a lot of the most recent turnovers, the fact that Bam hasn't gotten a 20-pointer game since the Butler saga really began, right? The game after the Butler saga began was the game that this Butler saga began was the last one that had 20 points, and then not anymore. All those things, they play a part into what the season is and what the season is going to be. So looking at the young ones, looking at them play, it's going to be a pleasure in the sense that it's good to see them play and try, and even but they're not going to be great, man. Like, it's going to be a difficult path to, and also to figuring out this new situation, and that's on Spo. To try to get it as quickly as possible. Honestly, that's going to say a lot about how good of a coach he is as well, but that's very complicated, The 76ers having the entire saga with Ben Simmons, I think they still made the first round of the playoffs, so that's where we want to go. We want to go to the first round of the playoffs so that we don't lose other picks, not just this one, but other picks that will become unprotected if we don't make the playoffs. So obviously there is a target there, but I also believe that all this idea, anyone that is, siding with Jimmy, and first of all, honestly, in this situation, as fans, again, there's a part of me that wants to say, Pat Riley, go ahead, trade everyone on the roster that you can find and trade just to get a couple of good players so that we can make another run, convince Jimmy to stay, pay him $60 for the next 3 seasons, and, let's have him until he's 38, 39 years old. There's honestly a part of me that wants to say that, because we still have that idea that Jimmy can be, and I think he can, honestly, be what he was for us in the playoffs. But at the same time, we have to be realistic. It's not going to happen. He doesn't want it to happen. Regardless of what we offered him, I don't think that he would want to stay here. Things are getting out of hand. Like this entire idea of him not, asking for permission, not attending the flight, being suspended again for 2 games. And tomorrow, I'm going to be there at the arena watching us and watching even the warm-ups. I got a connection there, watching the warm-ups. Maybe I'll even get to meet some interesting people there. But taking my students to the Heat against the Magic, which I'm already preparing myself to watch a disaster of a game, to be honest. And I dread having to see Jimmy Butler suiting up again. Unless something gets resolved and we understand that, okay, you know what, we're going to get this and that and that guy traded so we can get a whale. And I don't know. And what does that do to us? What does that do to our build? There's so many things. Like, forget about, we need to move on from this situation. But we also need to be realistic. We were the better team of all those other teams that people say got better, with the exception of the Bucks that got 1 ring, and the Celtics are the only team in this entire mix that have a chance for a repeat. That's it. Those are the only 2 teams that, quote unquote, got better. The Celtics were kind of already there, right? So they got better. But there was a time that they were unbeatable. The same thing with the Bucks, and we still trampled them. So just stop. Please stop with this nonsense. that other teams keep getting better and we didn't stop with this. We did more than they did, period, historically. Stay safe, stay dry, stay warm, stay as happy as possible. It's a very complicated world of ours. Let's go Heat.